I think that for Nigeria specifically, there are several things that are going on in the economy currently that makes the decline, perhaps you would say, predictable. A few things perhaps to note will be the fact that, the upcoming elections, obviously, some sort of uncertainty somewhere in there is difficult for a lot of people. But one of also the major variants as far as foreign direct investment is concerned is prices of commodities, oil, metals, etc. So traditionally what you find is that when the price of these metals are going down, there is less appetite for the economy, simply because the market is not as exciting. And you find that, for a lot of, foreign companies, I mean, when you look at FDIs over the last few years, what you find is that a lot of the money that has come in, especially in FDIs, have been into the oil and gas sector. Now, because the price is low, and there aren't that many investments going into that sector at the moment, FDI has declined. Again, the fact that for a lot of people in the economy as well, income levels have not been as great as they have been expected to be. And so for many people, they can't afford a lot of things. So in the last couple of years, you find that, automobile companies, retail companies are closing down and leaving the country because the market is really not as exciting for them, as it is. So, I mean, those are some of the reasons why FDI has been going down.
Okay, well, but compared to the second quarter of 2018 and the third quarter of 2017, so the same time last year, capital importation declined by 48.21% and 31.12% respectively. What does this decline mean for the Nigerian economy?
So there's a number of things. To answer the question, you first of all need to identify what FDI does for the economy. Okay. Now, what FDI does for the economy is that it's an inflow in foreign money directly into equity in businesses, across the country. What that does is that it gives you several things. It gives you access to foreign knowledge, technology. It gives you patient capital. It gives you, the deep pockets. You can do a lot more. You can scale things. You can scale your operations and all those types of things. What that means is that when all of those things are absent, then people have to do those things themselves. And the challenge is this: it slows down the rate of growth in the economy. So when FDIs don't come in the way we expect them to, then we can't really leverage on all of that to grow whatever it is that we want to do. So that's why it's very important, because the implication for businesses is that they really, really need to look inwards and they need to find creative ways to access capital and really grow their businesses.
Okay, so now you've highlighted the importance and the challenges, right, of FDI to the economy. Now, how can we increase foreign direct investment, which only accounted for 18.58% compared to portfolio investments, which accounted for 60.5%?
So if you want to increase foreign direct investment, there are a couple of things you can do. Look, money times confidence equals growth. Economics 101, that's it, right? What that means is this: the issue is not an issue of money, because money is always available. So whenever people talk about the fact that there's a recession, etc., what has been affected is confidence, not money, because money is always available. Money doesn't evaporate from the earth. So money is with someone, and the person does not have the confidence to spend. So if you want to increase foreign direct investment, you must improve the level of confidence that people have in your economy. That's the only way you can do that. And what does that mean? It means that you must be consistent in the things that you say. You can't approve something yesterday and disapprove it, for lack of a better word, today, all right? Look at the MTN saga, right? We could have just managed that a lot better.
Much better.
Much better. It's not saying that you shouldn't go after what is rightfully yours or not, as the case may be, depending on whose side of the story you're believing, right? But it's saying that you just need to manage optics and you need to manage perception, because confidence is a perception issue. So once people perceive, that's why when you look at corruption index, for example, Nigeria is ranked very, very low. Now, corruption index is a perception index, all right? And so the fact is, you must be able to create that environment for people. And listen, for a lot of people, after a while, all the things they perceive, it becomes their reality. So for a lot of people, they just feel like, listen, the government is not serious. They're not interested in the things that they're saying. And so, those are the things. So really, we need to work on the regulatory framework, ease of doing business in Nigeria, corruption index, and, you know, just be consistent in the things you say. Let me just give you a very short, very quick one. So I was in a session where I was listening to of an ex-minister of the Federal Republic, and the person was talking about how when they were listening to the person...
Are you going to tell us the minister?
Maybe not. And they were listening to the person coming in after, and they asked, what are you going to do? He says, my first priority will be to reform the reforms my predecessor did. That is terrible for consistency.
You have to tell us the minister. Okay, well, more often than not, speaking of government, so more often than not, we attribute the decline in foreign investments and in the volatility of the Nigerian markets to political uncertainty, especially in times like this. Now, do you think that we're more cushioned or more prepared, rather, to cushion markets and businesses from these kind of hard falls in the upcoming elections in the future?
The reality is that, in my perspective, I don't see what we're doing significantly along those lines. And the fear is that we will have those issues coming up again and again. The reality is that when you look through history, and I've looked at the numbers from 1980 all the way to 2015 in terms of foreign direct investments into the Nigerian economy, and what happened especially from 1999, where we had a civilian government and we went through democracies. Most often than not, what has happened is that FDIs have increased even within an election period, but not as significantly as it has in all the other years prior to that. Yeah. And, you know, for obvious reasons. So I think that no matter what it is, right, whenever you get into an election season, there will always be that level of apprehension, and there won't be as much confidence because people are still not clear
and
where
we're... wait-and-see strategy.
Exactly. So we're looking at all of that, and that's what we will see play out over the next couple of years. And the reason why I think that is because our democracy is still very young, and we need to get it right consistently over a couple of periods for people to start taking us a lot more seriously as far as that is concerned.
Very, very well said, DEJI. Now, instead of talking about the problems, let's talk about solutions.
Yes.
How do businesses grow in the midst of declining FDI?
I think the first thing businesses must understand is that trying to access foreign capital for their business, especially right now in this state of economy, is close to impossible. And because a lot of investors are just, like you said, wait and see. And they want to see the outcome of the elections. Will there be violence? Whoever wins, as the case may be. So as a business, what that tells you is that you must look inward a lot more. You must, for your growth initiatives, you must access your reserves. You must start saving money quite significantly. And the reason is because, again, money times confidence equals growth. Without money, right, you can't grow, and you can't embark on initiatives to scale. So businesses really need to look inwards. And inwards refers to looking into their own businesses. How can we create more value from this business? How can we be more innovative? How can we leverage technology? How can we diversify? What exactly can we do to increase cash coming into the business? And businesses also need to look at, you know, maybe this is the best time to be best friends with your banker. Because if you're not getting money abroad and you need money, you better go back to your banker and you better be nice to that guy. Maybe this is a good time also to be very good friends with your family, with your friends, and the people that are around you, because they are the ones that will borrow you the money that you will need to get out of whatever situation that you're in. So for businesses, it's time for us to look inward while you are still monitoring what's happening on a global scale and see how you can leverage those things when things turn, because things will turn. But for now, it's looking inwards, it's looking at what you can do, how you can leverage your capabilities inwards, and what you can do going forward as a business.